Apple's net income soars 95% in its latest quarterly earnings report out Wednesday. Revenue $25 billion, profit $6 billion. Dan Gallagher of MarketWatch is here with the details. And so, Dan, you said earlier in the week when we spoke that it was going to be a barn burner, and indeed it was. So what drove the majority of the growth this quarter?
Well, I think they actually burned down the entire farm, not just the barn this time. 95% earnings growth, a lot bigger than the street was expecting. A big part of that was the iPhone. The iPhone had a massive upside this quarter. Remember, they expanded to Verizon, they expanded to a few other international carriers. So they continue to find strong new markets for this product. And it now makes up about half of the company's overall revenue base. So it's their largest business by far, much bigger than Macs, iPods, the iPad. It's their biggest business, and it's doing the best for them. So it's a good spot for them to be in.
Well, and then of course there's also the iPad, and those numbers are a bit lower than what the street had estimated. So it seems like the iPhone numbers are counteracting the iPad numbers. Is that the case here?
Well, they got some offset from it for sure. Their problem with the iPad is not at all that people don't want this product. They're having a problem making enough of the new iPad 2 to meet demand. In the call, Tim Cook called it the mother of all backlogs, which suggests that they've actually had a lot of people actually placing orders for this product that haven't received it yet. So there's not much worry that they can't sell the iPad 2. It's a matter of making enough products to get them in the hands of consumers. He said they're going to ramp up production significantly, but he kind of stopped short of giving an actual number of what they're going to produce in the quarter and whether they'll be able to meet demand on that.
And did they give any color into what is causing the backlog? Is it just supply issues? Is it the white iPad? What is it that's causing so much challenge for them to get this into the hands of customers who want it?
Sure, they didn't really give a lot of details on that, and that's kind of normal for them. They don't like to go into that kind of granular detail about what specifically they're having problems with. They were very clear that they didn't suffer a lot of problems from the disaster in Japan like people thought they might. So that doesn't seem to be an issue for them. You'll realize that they put out the iPad 2 really only a couple weeks before the end of the quarter. So they were trying to draw down some channel inventory, build up, and then they did this really aggressive launch. They put it out in 25 new markets after the U.S. launch just within 2 weeks. So it's very possible that they were a little aggressive in their planning and didn't have enough supply. They wanted to have supply for everything. They're clearly trying to make more. Right now, there's not an indication that they're losing sales. They just have to wait to make those sales.
All right, and then finally, I wasn't able to get on the call today. I know, of course, you were, but it sounds like Tim Cook did talk about Steve Jobs and a little bit about how he's doing.
He was. Somebody asked about how Steve was, noticing that he was at the launch of the iPad 2. Tim says he's still officially on medical leave, but that he hears from them frequently, still involved in major decisions. So it seems like it's still pretty much what's been the case for the last several months with Apple, that he's still involved, but still considered officially on leave.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Apple burned down the farm, not just the barn. In his latest quarterly earnings report, you can read all about it on MarketWatch.com, written by Dan Gallagher. I'm Stacey Diallo.